I'm Chris Nagy, Director of your Personal Wellness Center. In addition to that, I'm also an orthopedic surgeon. I've invested a good deal of time and effort studying nutrition, health, and wellness overall, and actually looking at medicine from a different angle than what we typically look at it. In addition to running the wellness practice, I also have a weight loss program that I'm involved with. And much of it runs parallel to what John has been doing in his diet, which is a whole foods-based diet, essentially copying nature. I've found that the more we copy nature, the safer and healthier we're all going to be. The more of a whole foods-based diet that we adopt, the better. The more we can get away from some of the synthetic chemicals, the hormones, the pesticides, all the toxicities that we face in our lives, the better off we'll be. John has realized his own cure, essentially, by changing the things that he did day in and day out. And this is not about adopting a certain diet, it's about developing a lifestyle. And a lifestyle based on fundamental principles of health and wellness. The more that we look, research, and learn, the better off we'll be. John's done that for himself, and he's offering that to others in the community who are interested. He's a perfect demonstration of what you can do to change your life for the better. We have to look in the mirror and face up to the facts and change whatever's led us to the point we are at in our lives now. I think John's a good example of that, and so you can be too. Well, John, looking over your lab results here, I must say they look good. And you know, what I'd really like to know is what have you done to get your lab results in such a good range? A lot of good things happen when you eat the right foods. You know, our whole well-being, health and wellness are based on our diet. You know, and you mentioned it previously. You can't really exercise all your weight away. You have to walk 35 miles to lose a pound. And most people who try to exercise their weight away, that exercise drives their hunger mechanism. And then they eat more or they feel entitled. The basis and foundation of our health is our diet. And that's something, unfortunately, that we've gotten so far away from in America that's why we now have the obesity problem that we have. And it's getting worse. You have found, through your own methods, what is the foundation of health, which is proper diet.
Well, you know, I've never eaten the foods that I have in my diet before. I just knew they were good for me for some reason, but I just never did it. They were never attractive to me. And when, like I said, I got this rage inside me to, I've got to do this. I've got to prove it can be done. Mm-hmm. And it was so easy. I just can't believe it. It's like falling off a log.
There's a reason for that. The more obese you become, the more belly fat you have, the more your body makes estrogen. And actually, not just makes estrogen, but converts your testosterone to estrogen. So the more central obesity you have, the more likely you're going to develop breasts because of all the estrogen. I mean, as a man in our society, we're in trouble. You know, now that you've obtained an ideal weight for yourself, your body doesn't have to spend all this extra energy managing the extra load that you were carrying around. You know, the reason you got your ulcerative colitis, most likely, is because of the amount of inflammation in your body. Glucose, sugar, increases inflammation. The more inflammation you have, the more your body's in a constantly stressed state trying to fight it off. And ultimately, you'll come down with ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, lupus, Sjogren's syndrome, rheumatoid arthritis. It's inflammation. The more whole type foods that you eat, the more you eat what nature gave you, the more you'll decrease your inflammatory levels. You know, if you want to lead a long, healthy life, two things: control your inflammation and control your insulin levels. And by eating a more restricted calorie diet, you're doing both.